Good morning, good morning. It is Tuesday, June 27th, 7 a.m. here in New York time. Good afternoon to all of my UK, Europe watchers, and good evening to everyone over in Asia. Glad you guys are here watching. So happy to have you. We are Venator Trading. We are hunters. We are on the hunt for trophy buck setups. Again today, we're taking 10K to 2 million funding with bespoke funding by the end of this year, hopefully. And we're here demonstrating exactly how to start with a 10K challenge. Pass these challenges, get funded, and stack accounts. We're here every day, Monday through Friday. So glad that you guys are here watching. Good morning to everyone already here. Mr. Brooks, Alex, Redhead, Corey, Beeswax, good to have you guys in here. Happy to have you in the chat, active and hanging out there. So good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you guys are having a great day wherever you were at around the world so far. It was kind of a sloppy day yesterday, just very choppy as to be expected. It's a typical Monday, and it's kind of the last week of the month. Not a lot of news happening this week, so just a lot of chop. And I'm not sure that I would expect much different today, but we'll see. We'll be around. We're going to be here all morning for a few hours and just see what the market gives us. Looking for our setups to appear. So the chat called out a trade yesterday that I think probably would have ended up working out. I think Michael was the one who found this. Good morning, John. Welcome in, buddy. I believe Michael was the one who spotted this setup right here. I think he was trying to get in around, I think he said around 127.20, which is right here. I had said in the stream I would target an entry around this volume imbalance. And I had said I would have targeted my stop above this blue candle here. And I believe that would have given you almost a 1-2 winner. It just depends on where you had your stop there, but it did end up working out. It was a really sloppy day. I would not have taken that trade. It wouldn't have even gotten triggered until like well into the lunch hour, which is after my zone for entering a trade. But it was just a really disgusting day yesterday in the markets. Just nothing happened. It's like a 20 pip range all day long. And I don't know that we're going to get much more today. You can say we've taken out buy side liquidity here. We've taken out sell side liquidity here. And we're just in the middle of all this still. Euro dollar is definitely climbing. It has taken out buy side liquidity. Obviously up here, there's still some relative equal highs up here that it may be reaching for. So we're going to kind of watch that this morning. We are bullish on the foreigns, more bullish on the foreigns than we are bearish. But that doesn't mean we wouldn't put in a low today or tomorrow, a low for the week today or tomorrow. But we could also just keep running up a little bit higher. We'll go up to our daily time frame here and see what we have. So yesterday you can see this little, this was just, what is this candle? I don't even know. It's nothing. We filled in our fair value gap here from last week already today on euro dollar. So it could drop lower from here, or it could be reaching for a new swing high, which is ultimately where I think it's going to go, as a new swing high. And then again to these relative equal highs eventually. But I don't know that we're going to get here today. That would be a massive push up today. And you can see we've already had quite an expansion here in the London session. So it's just been running all night long. But you can see we filled in this fair value gap, all of this displacement into this tiny little bullish or bearish order block right here. And then we have another imbalance just directly above that area as well. So it's very interesting. You had a run on liquidity here overnight, and we're going to drop down into the 15-minute time frame to look at this. You had a run on liquidity right here as London opened, took out all this liquidity, took all this liquidity, reached into this imbalance, and then you had an aggressive move away. There was a tiny, if you drop down to the 5-minute here, you can see there's, I would have been looking at this. These last up close candles are what initiated this run on liquidity here. So these two 15-minute candles here, and if you combine them, they would be this 30-minute candle right here, and you have a fair value gap here on the 30-minute time frame just above that breaker block. And you can see it did sweep back in here around 5 o'clock, and then it just rocketed away. That's a really nice entry. I don't know if anybody took that from our London session, guys. That was a really nice entry. If you had dropped down to the 5-minute, you could have gotten in a little bit earlier. Here's your 15-minute order block on a lower time frame. Runs liquidity, pulls away. This little bitty volume imbalance right here could have given you an entry. There really weren't any good fair value gaps in there, but you could have targeted right around there, and that would have wicked you in, and you could have gotten your 1 to 2 out of that. If not, you could have waited for that pullback here at 5 in the 5 o'clock hour on a higher time frame. But that it did end up working out as a really nice trade there. So I don't know if anybody took that, but that would have been the setup on GU here. You had the opposite. So you had, it didn't really run liquidity. It ran the buy side and then dropped back down on GU here. And you can see it's falling away. This would be your breaker block. So this move right here down initiated this run on buy side liquidity. We didn't get clean displacement through that. It kind of stalled, and then you got displacement through. But as you came back up into this area, it is in line with that breaker right here, which is also this new order block. And there's a fair value gap right there at the bottom that you could have targeted for a sell. May have gotten stopped out. It just depends on where your stop was. It wasn't as clean as EU was this morning, but there were a couple of opportunities there. Good morning, Ajad Johns. Is that a breaker? Alex, I got a short on GU at 27.42.8, went all the way to about 1 to 8R and retraced back to break even. 127428. Let me look here. Somewhere around there, I'm guessing. I don't know where this is the only pullback I see right here on GU. Stop above the high. 1.8. So you got down here. So this move up right here, just a little bit ago, wicked you out at break even right here. How far into profit were you? Because unless you have really big spreads, I would think your break even would be somewhere right around here. But I don't know. That's just kind of what I see right there. Hey, welcome in, Wanongwa. I hope I said your name right, Wanongwa. Welcome in. Glad you're here, first time watcher. Any of the first time watchers, definitely say hello in the chat. I just trade one setup on this challenge. It is not the only setup that I trade across all of my accounts, but on this specific live stream challenge, I only trade one setup, and that is a breaker block It's an ICT concept, and I'm specifically looking for a fair value gap created inside or around that breaker block for an entry, and targeting 1 to 2. And you can see the pairs up here. Besides Bitcoin, I need to take that off. These are the pairs that we look at. The dollar is just for correlation and getting a bias for where we think the dollar might go, as it's heavily correlated with all of these pairs here. Not really break even. I moved my stop above that 15-minute swing. Yeah, this one right here. Well, then you got a little profit unless you got into here. I mean, either way, that kind of sucks for you. I'm sorry about that, Alex. It happens sometimes. Price will retrace back to your entry position and then continue to drop. It's happened to me a bunch. It's nothing to get too worried about. It's just part of the market. And you'll live to fight another day. Maybe you'll find another entry here this morning with us. Was that a bad move? Well, I don't know. I don't really see a breaker in here. I mean, it doesn't fit my setup for this stream. If you're just trading a break of structure and looking for a fair value gap, then yes, you could do that. You had a run of liquidity over here. You had a change of market structure with displacement away, leaving a fair value gap. You entered inside the fair value gap. It's a good move. Yeah, I just don't know. I probably would have just put my stop somewhere about right here, just above this, the candle that created these 3 candles create the fair value gap. 1, 2, 3. I would have put my stop above the candle that created the fair value gap, and I would have been out at 1 to 2 long before it ever had a chance to try to wick me out. That's the only thing I probably would have done there. Good morning, David. Huntsman, let's go. It was a 5-minute breaker after a run on liquidity. I guess if you're using, I guess you could say that is a push down, run liquidity, displacement away. I'm not sure if you're talking about this little bitty 5-minute candle right there. I probably would not have used that or identified that as a breaker. Potentially, you could have used this one. This move started here, and it did get into the body there a little bit. So, yeah, you could have identified that as a breaker. This move started down here. See what I'm saying? Like, this run on liquidity, where did this run start? Where did the aggressive run start? The aggressive run started way back here. That's why I wouldn't have identified any of these as a breaker. It is a change of structure, and did leave a fair value gap, and it did grab liquidity. But this move started all the way back down here. These 2 down close candles are what initiated that aggressive run up. So you had these 2 candles as London opened, ran up high, grabbed liquidity, and then it just started moving away. You didn't get I would have wanted to see a strong displacement below those 2, which you did end up getting over here, but it paused for a fairly long time in there before it decided to drop. It's still a breaker, not the cleanest setup, and there is a small little fair value gap right in here. I don't think there's one in here, but again, you probably would have gotten wicked out if you had identified that as your breaker over here on this side. But either way, it seems like you managed to find a good setup, and you took your entry and executed it well. So nothing to be ashamed of there. If we get displacement here above this candle, if the pound wants to run higher and take out more buy-side liquidity, it would need to displace above this 15-minute candle right here and leave us a nice little fair value gap, and we could get a long setup there. Otherwise, we're just going to wait and watch and see if it wants to grab. It did grab some liquidity there already. It came back up, took out an old swing high, and we'll just have to wait and watch and see what it wants to do. Euro, again, the move in London was a really nice move in London on the 30-minute time frame. Beautiful little breaker with a fair value gap nested just a little bit above it. Came back down into that fair value gap and pulled back away. Now that it has, it's still got these equal highs up here as a draw on liquidity for the euro, and then you have on the 4-hour time frame a larger fair value gap up in this area that could show some potential resistance there. But as far as euro opportunities, we would need to see a pullback here in the New York session and take out an old low, specifically that swing low, and then see a move up. For us, that's what we would be looking for some kind of setup. I think I would want to see that get taken out. On the 1-hour time frame, you can see if you were to pull your OTE fib up here, it's going to line up with that swing low somewhere in there. So we'll see if it engineers some liquidity here early in this session, and then we get a pop down and a run up, then we could potentially look for something like that as well. But you're going to want to see, if you're bullish on euro, it's already made a very large expansion for the day. So to continue, if this wants to close as a bullish candle, you would want to see New York pull back to get an opportunity here to continue a push higher. But euro has run pretty aggressively already today. So you can see the daily expansion on the euro dollar here has happened during our London session. So we may not get much there, but pound, we still could get an opportunity. It's just consolidating around here. And let me go up here to our daily time frame on the pound dollar. Potentially putting in a swing low right here. And whenever you see a swing low, you can target the old swing high, a new swing high to be made. So we'll have to wait. We kind of have relative equal highs. They're not perfectly lined up, but that's a relative equal high situation up here. Yesterday's candle didn't take out Friday's high, but today's candle has taken out Monday's high and Friday's high, and it's pulled back. Just looking at stuff here for a minute, guys. We've pulled back into that fair value gap, took out buy side liquidity. So this is why I still think we could see consolidation here again today, just like we did yesterday on pound. But if we did get some displacement above this candle here, which we did not get, it came up and then it's fallen back away. So nothing happening yet. Let's go look at what the DXY is doing. The opposite of euro. It's basically moved lower. You can see the fair value gap that euro dollar has filled in. The DXY has not completely filled in its fair value gap here. This is the fair value gap we were saying could hold as an inverted fair value gap to push us higher up into this weekly fair value gap above us. Today will help us determine what's going to happen here on the dollar. So we have this fair value gap. It held here as resistance, held here as resistance, held here as resistance. And then Friday last week, we just blew right through it. reached up to the bottom. That's our fair value gap. Start there. So now that we're trading back down into this old fair value gap, it can act as an inverted fair value gap. Every PD array can become inverted. A breaker block is just an old order block that was violated, basically. Fair value gaps can become inverted fair value gaps, and so on. So volume imbalances can become inverted, and they can act as support or resistance. So you can see this volume imbalance right here. We wicked up into it on Friday, fell away from it. So now we're just going to watch and anticipate what's going to happen with this inverted fair value gap here on the dollar. It's almost completely filled in this whole imbalance on our 4-hour time frame here. So we've had this big push up on Friday. Yesterday we just kind of consolidated. Overnight we gapped down, we did retrace back up inside that gap, and then we've just been moving lower with a few opportunities to try to push back up, but they've failed. Relative equal highs here. Obviously, fair value gap here on the 1-hour time frame. Relative equal highs up here inside of this volume imbalance. So we'll see what happens with our dollar here today. The Fed Powell, I think we have a. Do we have a consumer confidence flash, perhaps? Good morning, Michael and Jack. Welcome in, guys. Let me go over here and check our calendar today. Consumer confidence, CB consumer confidence at 10 a.m. today. Not much there. So we're just going to kind of watch with the end of the month, and this is the last week of June. And there's just a few little news events happening, and you have a holiday week to start next week with July 4th holiday here in the States. It could be kind of a quiet week, but again, we're going to take our setups when we see them. We're looking for displacement. We're looking for liquidity runs and displacement. When we identify liquidity runs and displacement, we can get setups. Gold here. We had a little push up yesterday, little retrace, another push up, and it's failed to make a higher high here, and it's now taken out these lows. If we look on the daily time frame, we could be looking to take and make a new low here on the gold. You do have a little imbalance up here. And then, of course, back inside this range here would be, if we moved out of here aggressively and get back up inside this range, we could probably be expecting higher prices here on gold. But on the 4-hour, what do we see? We see it trying to completely fill in that gap up from Friday to Monday. And it's just about done that. We haven't had a body close all the way through there yet, but the wicks do appear to have filled in that gap now. Will be interesting to see what happens with gold here. If we grab liquidity here and then we get some moves up, that might give you an opportunity to get long. So we'll watch. We'll watch and wait. This would be your first. This would be your first 15-minute candle you would be waiting for to be displaced through. For me, that's what I would be waiting for. If you get strong displacement up through that, if you could get some kind of return back down into that, and then target these these highs and this liquidity here and these highs and that liquidity there. US 30 has dropped back down into our big range here. We had accumulation, manipulation. We took sell side, we've taken buy side, and now we've dropped back down into this. And it just remains to be seen what this US 30 really wants to do. This volume imbalance here could be where it wants to reach and dig into a little bit more. But it has run liquidity and displaced through. That run on liquidity started here. You do have a small little fair value gap inside of this breaker right here. So if it wants to move lower, you could potentially look for a retrace up into this area, which would be into a premium of this move down. It's about an OTE. That's around the OTE area of this current leg down, that fair value gap right there. It's above a 50% and just right around that OTE area. So if you're short on US 30 bias, that's where you would want to see price get to here on the daily time frame. It doesn't mean that you couldn't take trades in the opposite direction now, currently on lower time frames, but you can see we have clear draw on liquidity on. We just reached in and grabbed some liquidity here over the London session. And you can see very clear draws on liquidity underneath here. 1 hour time frame, obvious engineered liquidity here. It ran it here right in the Asian session, ran sell side, moved up, tapped into buy side, and now we're back in the middle of this Asian range here. We'll see what kind of displacement we get away from some of these moves. Currently, this is the most energetic move US 30 has given us after we've taken out the buy side there. But again, my eye keeps coming back here to GU. If EU can pull out and take out some swing lows here and then give us some displacement, we might be able to get a setup there potentially. But I would like to see some displacement through this candle pretty aggressively. That's my first area of opportunity that I would be looking for. If the dollar is going to be bullish, yeah. I don't want. Again. I said yesterday, and I'm going to hold to this. I'm still bearish dollar overall. I still think the dollar is going to come down a little bit more. Ideally, I'd like to see the dollar come down into these relative equal lows and into this monthly volume imbalance again. I know it's got a lot of work to get down there, but we've had a change of structure here. Breaker structure. We've put in a lower high, a lower low, a higher high, and then we took out the low, but we've also taken out the high. I know this is a change of structure, so again, I'm still mostly bearish on the dollar here. Overall, we're just in this big range. This is our big dealing range right here that we haven't broken out of. This dealing range right here is where we're sitting in the middle of. You have relative equal highs above and relative equal lows below. One of those, if it wants to run high and be bullish, then I think it's going to want to come down here and tap into that. That's why I'm mostly bearish here currently. It's respecting bearish order flow. We made a low, we rallied high, we took this out. This volume imbalance has shot us back down. This move here could be a breaker. Like you have these 3 daily candles right here. It ran liquidity, displaced above it, fair value gap inside. Right now we're inside that breaker. So this is again why this daily, I want to see what's going to happen inside this daily fair value gap with the dollar here, because it also lines up with this current fair value gap, which is part of this breaker structure. We had a move up, we had a run on liquidity, we took out relative equal lows, and then we displaced higher right after that. We broke through that high, we left behind a fair value gap. So this goes against my bearish bias, admittedly, but that's why I'm really interested to see what happens here with this inverted fair value gap, with this fair value gap now inside this daily breaker structure. But I'm going to watch GU for now. We'll keep bouncing around here, guys, and see what we see. What kind of moves happen. I'm going to jump back over here to the chat, see what's going on. It seems kind of quiet in here now. Good morning to all 20 of you that are watching the chat this morning. Glad to have you guys in. Click that like button if you haven't already. We are currently trading our 10K funded account. We are using it to copy trades over to our 10K phase 2 challenge, where we have to reach 5% to add that to our funding. And we're also copying it to our 100K phase 1 challenge, where our goal is 8% to pass phase 1. Here on the stream, my mindset and the way that I'm approaching this is that my goal is to pass challenges. So I am trading these accounts to always be reaching 8%. That's my goal, is always be reaching 8%. If I'm reaching 8% every couple of weeks or so, then we'll be getting some good payouts. We'll be keep adding more challenges. We'll be keep adding funding, and our payouts will increase, and our account sizes that we can purchase will also increase. I'm using Social Trader Tools as my trade copying software, and it's set up to, so it's currently set up to, I'm using the lot multiplier risk management feature on Social Trader Tools. So if I'm sending one lot over from my 10K funded account here, my lot multiplier on the phase 2 challenge is 1, which means every lot that I send from this account will equal, because they're the same size accounts. The 100K account is 10 times larger than these accounts. So every lot that comes in from this trade on this account will have a lot multiplier of 10 for the 100K phase 1 challenge. Hey, Sai, good morning. Sharp, good morning. Peter, good to see you. Currently in AJ sells, trust your system and stick to your rules. That's the plan. Always, always, always trust your system and stick to your rules. And the only way that you can trust your system is if you accumulate enough data to know exactly what your win rate is over at least 100 trades, and have a set risk reward ratio. That's really where your edge is going to play out, is to have that set risk reward ratio. If you're new to the stream, maybe you started watching yesterday, maybe today's your first day in, I am not a high frequency trader. If you're failing challenges and you're taking multiple trades a day, I would highly suggest you stop doing that. You may not like this stream. It may not be super entertaining. It may not be fast paced, but what it is funded, and it's payouts, and it's account growth. So if that's what you want to learn how to do, stick around. I will take 1 to 2, maybe 3 trades a week. There has been one week so far in the, what is this, the 6th week? We're 6 weeks in, I think. About 6 weeks in. There has been 1 week where we had a setup form every single day, 5 days in a row. That is very rare. It is much more typical that we get about 2 setups a week, maybe 3. And it all just depends on what the market gives us. Otherwise, we just sit here, we talk about psychology. I answer your questions. We go over charts. If you have a question about a different pair that I'm not watching, I'm happy to look at that. But everybody's just here building our little tribe and helping each other out as best we can. So welcome in. Make sure you do click that like button. I do this for free. I do not need to make money from you guys. I make money from trading. And I'm just here. I wish I would have had this 2, 3, 4 years ago when I started. I wish I would have had someone sitting here showing me what professional traders do. That doesn't mean it would have helped me. I mean, quite honestly, I probably still would have had to gone through all the stuff I went through. But maybe it would have shortened the curve. Maybe it would have, maybe something would have gotten through to me to fix the issues that I always fought with. Hey, Nan, good morning. Ivo, hello. Welcome in, Ivo. I don't think I've seen you here before, so welcome to the stream. Glad you're here. Wondering what is your setup. Egan, EU small displacement with small market structure shift. Let's go take a look here. Yeah, I'm bullish on euro, so I'm not going to be taking a counter trend trade here right now. It is a it's kind of a small market structure shift. This is not an A+ setup. It may work out if you got into that, if you were targeting some lows potentially, but I'm more interested to see it run these lows and then give us displacement higher. That's really where I'm more interested. If it doesn't do that, then I'm not really too keen on it. To answer Ivo's question here, we'll go back. There is a nice little setup here on euro, still on our charts, I believe. If I can get back to it, where is it? Here it is. Go down to the 1 hour. So right up here is just a beautiful little trade setup we had. This is exactly what we look for. Ivo, this is our trade setup. Let me get back over here. Here we go. Don't need that. So we were waiting for a run on liquidity, and then we look for displacement away after liquidity is run. So here was our run on liquidity. So we had all of this liquidity built up above this old high here. And we were bearish. Our bias was bearish. We were waiting for euro to make a new high and then drop lower. So what we were anticipating was, where did this run on liquidity start? Where did all of this run on liquidity start? It started right here on this swing low. This swing low initiated our first run on liquidity, and then it dug up a little deeper. And then once it was done clearing out all the liquidity up here, what did you get? You got a massive, quick, energetic displacement all the way back down through. This is your breaker block. These candles here from this high to this low on these down close candles are altogether a breaker. If you look at it on a 30-minute time frame, it's these 3 candles. If you look at it on a 1 hour, it's this last down close candle. I believe we were looking at this on our 30-minute time frame. Nope, we were looking at it on 15. Sorry about this, guys. I got to keep scrolling back. There is a 5-minute fair value gap inside here. Let me see if I can replay this. Yeah, we can. Cool. So right here, we saw our breaker. We identified where our breaker was. We waited for displacement back through it. And then we identified the fair value gap entry right there. It fell away. So on the 15-minute time frame, we waited for this move here on the 15-minute time frame, and then we dropped down into our 5-minute time frame. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. Saw this fair value gap inside of our breaker block way over here. And you could have also used this 5-minute ran liquidity here and then displaced away. Either one of these would have worked. There's a fair value gap in both. This is the higher time breaker block that we were interested in using. Ran liquidity, displaced through. left behind a fair value gap inside of our breaker, and we targeted 50% of the entry here, and we put our stop above the candle that created that breaker. So these three candles all form the fair value gap. Sorry, the candle that created the fair value gap. I misspoke. Put our stop here, and then we just waited for price to come back up. It left the buy side liquidity draw that we were interested in down here. There it is. So we identified this trade setup. We called it at 9 in the morning. We got triggered in at 10 in the morning. And then you can see it just fall away to our target here. So that's our setup. That's what we look for. That's what we're waiting for, is a run on a clear run, aggressive run on liquidity, and then displacement away, preferably in the direction of our higher time frame bias. So this was a very clear run on liquidity. Had engineered liquidity on both sides. We ran liquidity on the top, and then we get an aggressive move away after liquidity is run. We identify our breaker, our fair value gap, we place our orders, and then we let the market do whatever the market's going to do. If this had just run away, we would have missed the trade, but it did come back up, trigger us in, and we were able to lock in 4% profit on that. So that's what we're looking for. And we had that set up on the euro dollar this morning. Jack, did you take that trade on euro dollar? On this run of liquidity here, you moved back up, displaced through a 30-minute time frame. There's a nice little fair value gap in this on that order block right there. That seemed like a perfect Jack setup. London Judas swing and then get in later. Redhead sent you a photo. Can you see it? I'm assuming on Twitter. Let me go. I'll go check. Same error. Let's see here. Yep, I see it. So yeah, what you're looking at, and this is what somebody else, I'm not sure if you said this or not, but this is what you guys are talking about here on the euro. This isn't really a true break of structure. Your break of structure is right here. This is a break of structure, yes, and this is the highest fair value gap above it. I mean, I don't know that I would be more cautious to think that this is a breaker here. I'm not even sure what time frame you're on here. It's hard to tell. I mean, you're identifying fair value gaps, but if you're bullish on euro dollar, why are you trying to catch a top? I would be expecting it to run liquidity here and then push back up aggressively and make new highs. So that's what I see on euro dollar, and I might be wrong, and you guys could be right today, and I'm totally fine with that. I don't care. I'm here showing you what I think and what I see. Maybe that's a 1 minute time frame you're looking at. I'm not quite sure. 2 minute, 3, 5. Yeah, I don't. Is that a daily? What are you looking at here? Is that a daily time frame? I'm kind of confused on what time frame you're looking at there, Samir, on that picture you sent me. 4 hour. Okay. Well, so here on the 4 hour, what you can see is, I mean, he's identified this 4 hour fair value gap here. This is our draw on liquidity. I would anticipate price wanting to get back up into there. I don't know that I would just set a limit order there. If price is bullish and we're aiming for these relative equal highs as our overall draw on liquidity for a weekly time frame, I would be very careful about trying to sell a bullish euro dollar. I mean, this looks more to me like a run on liquidity, aggressive displacement away, fair value gap with a breaker in here. It could just reverse from here and head lower. So I would be cautious about just setting a limit order up there. Again, for me, I would like to see euro dollar retrace here in the New York session, take out a low or engineer some lows and take it out and then give us displacement away. Pound dollar, we're just consolidating again here, guys. So far, this first hour, the 7 o'clock hour, we're just consolidating. There's not much happening. And I know that can seem frustrating, but that's okay. There's no rush to pass these challenges. There is no rush. For my system, I only need 2 trades. I only need to win 2 trades to pass a challenge. 2 trades in a row, challenge knocked out. So I don't care whether I get a trade yesterday. I don't care if we get a trade today. I come into the market every single day. And my position is I'm not taking a trade today. Every day I sit down to trade, I am literally telling myself, you're not going to trade today. The only way I take a trade is if I get an A+ trophy buck set up on my chart that is screaming at me to participate. That's the only way I trade. This is not a game. There is no rush. I do not have to be in a position every single moment that the market is open. Your subconscious. So I've talked about this book quite a bit. Best Loser Wins by Tom Hougaard. I don't know how you say his last name. I think he's Dutch. I'm not sure. But anyway, great book, guys. If you haven't gotten it, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite psychology books for trading. It really digs into, it's called Best Loser Wins. All of my tweets are about that today. About getting comfortable with losing and doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. If 90% of the people are failing their challenges and not getting payouts, and so far that appears to still be the accurate statistic from prop firms that are putting out this information and becoming kind of transparent with their numbers, it still appears to be 90 to 95% of traders are still not reaching payouts. I mean, I've talked with many of you guys here. I've talked with many of you guys on Twitter. You are smart people. You are educated people. You are hardworking people. You have a fairly accurate and strong knowledge of how the market moves. Why are smart, logical, rational, hardworking, educated people continuing to fail these challenges and continuing to fail to become profitable? It's because the market does not work the way our brains work. So let me explain, break that down a little bit. Your subconscious brain is specifically designed to protect you. It keeps you breathing. It keeps your heart pumping. It regulates your hormones. You do not consciously make these decisions. It releases adrenaline, cortisol for stress. It produces anxiety and fear responses to pain or to loss or to suffering. It produces joy and elation, and it releases dopamine and serotonin. All of these things your brain is doing subconsciously, and it's doing all of them to protect you. It thinks it needs to keep you safe. And so when you come into the market is here to give you pain. The market exists to produce pain. So if you're not comfortable with pain, and most often Our subconscious is trying to keep us from pain. And here's how it works, right? So you can have pain. There is a pain going on inside of you when you come to the market and you're not in a trade. There is a fear of missing out. There is a fear that you're not going to make profits if you're not in a trade. There is a fear that you're missing and you're wasting time. And so your subconscious brain is telling you you're not making money, you're not making money, you're not making money. And so what do? You jump into a position and you jump into the market to make money, to make a profit. Well, so now you have reacted to an emotional response that your subconscious is trying to protect you from. It's trying to protect you from the fear of missing out. That's a pain in you that you're dealing with, which is why you want to rush into the market every single day. That's a pain. So you jump in. Now you have the pain. Now you immediately jump from that pain into the pain of, oh my gosh, I hope this doesn't hit my stop loss. Or if you're fortunate enough to jump into the market and it goes into profit and it moves you into profit, now you have the pain of, oh my gosh, I need to take profits right now. I'm going to lose these if I don't get out. So it is a constant fight of fear. It's the fear of missing out. It's the fear of hitting your stop loss. It's the fear of losing profits. That's what trading is all about. And until you can get over and master that emotional response that's happening inside of you, you're not going to be profitable. You have got to learn how to master and get okay with the pain and basically flip the switch and do the opposite. That's what he talks about in his book. He talks about you've got to learn how to flip the switch. You've got to understand what's happening emotionally inside of you and go, my brain is trying to self-sabotage me right now. It thinks I need to be protected from this fear of missing out. It wants to remove the fear. And so it's going to drive you to take action to remove the current fear. But what it doesn't know, your subconscious can't think 2 steps ahead. It can't think, oh, if I get into this position, I'm just going to introduce a new fear that needs to be dealt with, which is the stop loss getting hit or the profits being lost. Either way, it's just going to flip back and forth. If it goes into drawdown, oh my God, should I close this out? Oh my God, should I move my stop loss? Oh my God. Or if it's in profits, oh, it's in profits. This is great. Oh, but wait, maybe I should just close this out. I need to make up my loss from yesterday or 2 days ago or whatever it is. It's just constant fear that is crippling all of you and keeping you from reaching profitability. So I come into the market every day and I still feel those same things, but I have reached a point in a place where I can step outside and kind of look at myself from up above and go, that's not how professional traders act. Professional traders recognize the emotion that's happening inside of them. They do not allow their emotions to dictate their next response. They are committed to their trading plan. They are committed to their rules. They are committed, like life and death committed to executing exactly what is in front of them. And that's when everything changed for me. That's when everything just turned the corner. When I became okay with losing, when I became okay with understanding how my system worked, letting my edge play out, letting my risk management keep me afloat, and just ignoring the emotions inside of me. That's childish. What do we say when someone is acting childish? We say, stop acting like a baby. Because babies cannot emotionally control themselves. They do not have the capacity to control themselves and the emotions. They are completely swayed by their emotions. That's why we call them children. Stop acting childish. You think that you have gotten there as an adult because everything else in life functions in pretty much a normal way where these emotions probably benefit us more than they hurt us. But when it comes to trading, when it comes to this business, it's the exact opposite. Your emotions are constantly going to be fighting you to do the wrong thing in this business. So whatever your emotions are that you're feeling, whatever the mental side of things is that you're feeling, When we come into the markets every day here and we sit on this live stream, 9 times out of 10, whatever the opposite thing is that that emotion is telling you to do is probably the correct action to take. So you've got to be comfortable with pain. You've got to be comfortable with losing. You've got to get okay with it. If you can't get there, if you can't manage that emotion, then this probably is not going to be a business you're going to find success in. So I know that was kind of a soapbox rant there, but that's how I approach the markets. That's how professional traders approach the markets. They sit here every day and they're patient and they wait and they stalk their prey and they know exactly what it is they're looking for. They one shot, one kill it, and then they shut the charts off and they go away. Sammer, don't forget I'm just a beginner. Hey man, I'm not that. So if I ever give you a critique, do not take it personally, please. Trading is not personal. You can see one thing and be right, and I can see a different thing and be right. So there's a lot of subjectivity that comes into some of this stuff. So even though you're a beginner, don't hear any critique I give you. Please don't take that as a personal attack. I'm not trying to say you don't know what you're doing. I'm just telling you my opinion on what I see, and hopefully that's helpful for you. Also, I'm not here to try to convince you to change your system. If you have a system and you have the data that shows that setup works a majority of the time or enough of a time with your risk management to keep you profitable, don't let me try to change your mind. You have to trust your numbers. You have to trust your system. So even if you're a beginner, trust your system, execute your plan, and then go from there. Egan says pain of discipline versus pain of regret. You're exactly right, man. Again, you have to learn how to manage pain in this industry. That's what it's all about. Pain of drawdown, pain of not being in a trade, the pain of losing profits, the pain of seeing a stop loss hit, the pain of losing a challenge, the pain of not wanting to take a trade for fear of losing the trade. Like, it's just complete pain management. It really is when you break it down. Peter and Ivo, I think I walked through that strategy pretty well. That should be, if you need more clarity, let me know. Hey, Ghost, welcome in. Michael, all good. Yep, that's exactly right. Michael's advice. Alan, welcome in. Hi, man. Your streams are really interesting. I'm wondering, are you looking for setups within specific times like the kill zones or silver bullets? I look for just in the kill zone. So from 7 a.m. New York time to around 10:30 to 11 a.m. is probably 10:30 to 11 New York time is about as late as I will try to find an entry, especially on Forex pairs. I know what the silver bullet is. I don't care about it. I don't look for it. I don't trade it. But it's the shiny new toy from ICT. But his kill zone that he's been preaching and teaching for most of his trading career is just what I use. Real interesting here. If we can get some displacement here above on gold, above this old high, we might have a potential setup on gold. We've cleared out all of the sell side liquidity. We've rebalanced the opening week gap here. If we get displacement above, we could potentially see an opportunity here for a buy. So we'll be watching that. This is the first candle right here that we would be watching to see if this becomes a breaker on gold. We would want to see energetic moves up here on gold through this candle, leaving behind a fair value gap that we might be able to then capitalize on a position in here, targeting initially these highs. We could probably potentially find a 1 to 2 in there that would work out pretty well. All right, we're coming in here. We just started our 8 o'clock hour on the New York session. So we'll see what happens here. If we run this sell side liquidity and get displacement higher, we've already taken out buy side and we've seen an aggressive move. After we've taken this buy side, it's just dropped pretty aggressively here overnight. So we'll watch and wait here on the 15-minute. Just checking it out. You have 7 figures in prop firm. Not yet. Not yet, Mario. Six figures currently. Sai, US Swiss 3-minute setup. I might pull that up here in a second. Mr. Brooks, how much data someone needs for a strategy? So my recommendation is, you have a rolling 100 trades. So once you have 100 trades, you keep dropping the furthest one and you keep adding to it, and you keep that 100 trade number in front of you for data. So for me, I take 2 to 3 trades a week. So it took me about 9 months to get 100 trades because I don't take that many trades. But once I had that number, and that was 9 months of me committing to getting 100 trades of the best execution to my trading plan that I could get. Okay. So it's a commitment to not to following my plan until I have got 100 trades of the best execution setups that I can get. So however long that takes you. If you take a trade every day, you could do it in 100 days, 100 trading days. If you take, like me, just a couple trades a week, it's going to take you longer. But whatever that is, you should have a minimum of 100 trades that you're working with as your data set. That will give you your win rate. That will tell you what your risk reward ratio would be. There's just a lot of things in there that you would want to know. But again, it's that data set is partnered with, during those 100 trades, you executed your trading plan to the best of your ability based on your rules, that you didn't break your rules on any of those trades. You didn't go against any part of your plan. Like you did 100 trades exactly as your plan stated. What's your win rate after that? That's my recommendation. Do you mind looking into pound Swiss? Would love to hear your analysis. And can you give us a previous chart, and each person analyzes it in his own way, and we send you the analysis to you? Potentially, we can do that. Samer, we'll look at that. I don't have like a Discord. You guys have kept asking for that. I think we're getting close to an amount of people that potentially we could open up a free Discord for we could have chat throughout the day and posting charts and whatnot. But I don't know. It's just a lot for me to keep up with and manage, and I want time freedom. I don't want to be locked in all day long if I don't have to be. So Michael says, I'd like the high of the week on EU here. So Michael's feeling a little bearish on EU. He thinks the high of the week may be in. And it could be, Michael. It could be we filled in that fair value gap and we could move lower from here. So this could just be a lower high from this larger move down. This could just be a retracement up here. We've grabbed liquidity. We did break market structure. It's all TBD for me. We've run both sides of the liquidity here, so I'm just kind of watching and waiting. But you could be right, Michael. It could be the high of the week. I was hoping he would have put in a low of the week and we would have run up Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but we could be moving in that opposite direction. And inside, I agree. Last week of the month, not a lot of news, not a lot of big news events coming out. It could just be a choppy range. So in that instance, you're just looking for displacement from the extreme ends of the range, and you try to capitalize on that. Gold has given us our displacement here up above. So if this in the next 9 minutes, I'm going to want to see how the candle after this closes. So this candle is going to need to close bullish, and then the next candle's going to need to close somewhat bullish or stay up and leave behind a fair value gap. So we still have another 15 plus 8. We still have 23 minutes here on gold before we know if we're going to have a good setup here. But things are progressing nicely here on gold. So we've had a run on liquidity. Now you're getting displacement away. So you've run sell side liquidity. This is where that move started. This up close candle initiated an aggressive run down on liquidity, and now we've had a quick energetic displacement higher. And again, if this candle can close bullish and the next candle can leave behind a fair value gap, this could be a nice little setup here for us. So we'll just keep our eyes on that. Pound is still not displaced above this old high. Euro did not come down and take out any sell side liquidity yet for us to want to move higher. So US 30 sell side liquidity drawdown here. It has taken out quite a bit of sell side liquidity, but I would think these draws on liquidity might be better. After it took out buy side liquidity here, we had an aggressive move away. There was your little fair value gap right here. So you had this breaker block. This would have been your, this is the last down close candle before we initiated our run on liquidity. This move started down here at this swing low. This is the last down close candle. We ran up, grabbed buy side, aggressive move down. When this bullish candle closed, it left behind that small little fair value gap right there. That would have been a nice little entry. It was just outside. It was at 4 o'clock in the morning, so way outside of our trading zone. But that is a nice little setup there on US 30 for that sell-off overnight. Welcome in, guys. For anybody that's just joining the stream, we are watching gold here. We might have a potential setup on gold in the next 20 minutes or so. Dollar is definitely showing weakness. It did take out this high. This high here was 102.675, and we took it out by a pip at 102.676. Still relative equal highs, which is obviously, I mean, they don't have to be to the pipette. You can see those are relative equal highs. So that's definitely buy side liquidity there. You have obviously sell side liquidity on relative equal lows down here. So looks like we're going to tap into that for sure. And then we'll just see, we're inside a daily fair value gap right now, waiting to see what price wants to do. Oh. You guys know how I feel about, well, some of you know how I feel about giveaways. I'm not a huge fan of giveaways, account giveaways, because I think that they just induce and foster a gambling mindset for traders. I know that there's a lot of traders that cannot afford some of these challenges, but with these 10K accounts and 5K accounts, they're fairly inexpensive. And if you don't have $50 for a 5K or $100 for a 10K, I don't know that you need to be trying to even trade a challenge right now anyway. You need to be out there trying to pay your bills and create income, and not look at trading as a magic bullet that's going to fix everything for you. I've had a couple prop firms reach out about potential giveaways, and I told them I'm not a huge fan of giveaways, but if there's a way that we could come up with some type of, I don't know, a different way to do giveaways that doesn't make you treat this like a complete lottery machine and a slot machine, I might be interested in doing a giveaway for our little tribe. But again, I'm not a huge, I don't know how, I just don't know what to do about that. Like, I don't know. I wish I could say, I'm going to do a giveaway, but if you win this account, you have to come on the live stream every day and do this the right way. But I can't make people do that. Like, I can't, if I do a giveaway, it's just gonna, it's just, people are gonna do whatever they want with it. I can't control what happens after that. But the problem is if they do it the wrong way, it hurts them in the end. Giveaways hurt them in the end. It helps the prop firm company get marketing. It helps me get more exposure if I do a giveaway, but it hurts the traders because they just treat them like complete. They have no skin in the game. They don't take it seriously. The percentage of people on giveaway accounts that reach funding or payouts is like 0.5%. It's even lower than people who pay because they try to get in there and they just gamble it away. And so I feel like that's just going to ingrain further bad habits. But I also know that there's a lot of people that could maybe use a giveaway and use an account and take advantage of it. And so I really am torn. I really am torn about working with prop firms, whether it's Bespoke or others that would like to do a giveaway with us. So I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do with all that. So gold. Yeah, gold is looking good here. Again, we're going to need the next 15-minute candle to leave us a nice fair value gap here. The problem that gold has been giving lately is that it just runs. Like, it hits this liquidity and then just flies, and it never pulls back and gives you an entry. It just does these massive whips. Massive whips, and it never just, like this candle right here. Look at this candle. So even if the next candle closes with a fair value gap, like, that's just I don't want to see it do that. It's just like gonna take off and run and not look back and not give you any kind of entry. It did this to us a couple of weeks ago on gold. We identified the liquidity run, we identified the breaker, and then it just literally shot off like a rocket, like it did over here. And it never gives you an opportunity to participate in that move with a retrace of any kind. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it will be nice to us today. I have yet on any of these challenges, so when we started phase 1 of our first challenge, we took a loss. When we started phase 2 of our first challenge, we took a loss. When we started our funded account, we took a loss. When we started phase 1 of our second challenge, we took a loss. Every time we've started a new step in this process, we have started out with a loss. I'd really like to start with a win one time. One time I'd really like to start with a win. So change our fortunes up a little bit. Pound is starting to maybe show some displacement here. Euro dollar, we're getting some move higher here. You did take out some liquidity here on the 5-minute, but not on the 15. I would much rather see a setup form on the 15 and then drop down to a 5-minute if we need it. But if we can get some displacement here above this high on this candle right here, I'll go ahead and mark that out. there's your breaker candle on the 15-minute. If we can get some displacement above there in the next couple candles, then we might have an opportunity to go long on pound here. Gold as well. So we'll see if gold can give us a nice little, look at that, just runs up. This is a massive fair value gap. I would want to see it not be so aggressive, and I don't want to see this candle just run up here and give us another massive move, a massive candle move right there. Gold is so weird lately, man. It does not, it's tricky gold. Yeah. I'm just catching up on chat. Yeah, Jack, we've seen that. Mr. Brooks, yes. Size, start a challenge, competition. I'm not sure what you're asking about there, Size. Start a challenge competition. Is that what you're talking about? Like, do a giveaway, but it's based on some type of competition first that you win the account? Is that what you're talking about? Make rules for the winners, and then if they break the rules, they pay you back. What would those rules be, Michael? I don't even know. You could only take 2 trades a week. You have to, I don't know. And I don't even know how I would set that up to monitor it. I don't know. John says gold is like that seedy strip club where your buddies tell you crazy things happen, but whenever you go, nothing good happens. Oh, gosh. That's hilarious. Gold is, everybody wants to trade gold. It's the sexy pair to trade. All these prop firms, I think gold is the most traded pair on all these prop firms. Euro dollar a close second, I believe. But gold, man, it's just, again, it just doesn't give you a good opportunity to trade. It'll do a move like this. It could do this right now. See what happened right here. Like, it just gives you this move, and then it just gives you the complete opposite move. And then it gives you a move, it gives you the complete opposite move. Could give us this massive move up just like it did yesterday. This is exactly what it did yesterday. It just took off, and then it just consolidated around for 2 or 3 hours. It could be doing the exact same thing today. But not ideal. It's open, low, high, close on your challenges. Beautiful open manipulation. It really is. I open, I find my low, hit my high, close out the challenge. That's basically exactly what I've been doing. I would prefer just an open and a high to close out the challenge. Let's do that. Can we do that? Amount of trades per week is good. Amount of risk per trade, depending on their experience, knowledge, so they don't over leverage in a hurry to get funded. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, again, I've thought about all these same rules. I just don't know how. I don't know how to track that and enforce that, unless they gave me their login credentials, just to view and keep track of what they're doing. But I don't know. I don't want to get in the game of babysitting challenges for people. So I don't know. The Sharp says, I only trade gold with basic support and resistance strategy breakouts. Gold has screwed me so many times. Yep. Gold has screwed a lot of people so many times. ICT says it's one of the most manipulated pairs, which is why I don't think he focuses on it too much. I only focus on it because I know a lot of traders like to look at it. I'll take 1 or 2 gold trades a month. because it's just so, it just, look, I mean, look at this price action. Sorry, let me close that. Just, I it's just so whippy. And then we're getting another whip right now. This whip right here gave you no chance to participate in that. Just a massive drop. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if gold's going to play nice. I don't know that it's going to. I don't like how aggressive this move to the upside is. I don't like that at all. But pound, on the other hand, oh no, pound's pulling back. Still not giving us any kind of move to displace higher. Just watching and waiting. This is what trading is all about right here. 2 days. We're 2 days into this new challenge, and we've sat on our hands. I think I have a tweet coming out today that talks about not being in a trade is a position for every trader. And it's most often the position that you need to be in. Probably 99% of the time is no position. You're not in a position. You're just watching the markets. You're just watching and waiting for your setup to show up. And that's what we've been doing. And we'll continue to do it. I know this isn't like fast paced and calling out trades every like 5 trades a day. But I'm not interested in necessarily entertaining you. I'm more interested in you not being lumped in with the 90% of people who continue to fail. There's plenty of other streams out there that will give you multiple trades in a live stream session that you can go watch, and you'll still be in the 90% of people who fail. If you want to be profitable, then you need to start doing what the 5% of profitable traders do. What do those people do? Start doing that. Stop doing what everyone else is doing. Do the opposite. Whatever the 90% of people are doing, you're going to have to do the opposite to get out of that number. Even if gold closes super bullish here, I really don't have any desire to call a trade here on gold, because it could just whip right back down the exact same aggressive movement again. It's definitely an aggressive move after liquidity. You definitely have a breaker. If you're a gold trader, you could set a buy limit somewhere in here. But if you get an aggressive move back down just like you got here, I don't know. Like gold just shooting off like that is not super interesting to me right now. Euro's made a new high of the day here. Pound is still lagging behind euro quite a bit. The dollar has completely filled in its fair value gap here off of this candle high from last Thursday. So now we wait and see, is it going to respect this fair value gap now that we filled it in? Is this where the dollar finds some strength? Or does the dollar continue to reach for new lows? I really wanted euro dollar to come take out this low before it ran this high up here again. Is there a way to look back at gold in hindsight and see what caused it to shoot? This is the new week opening gap. So this was Friday's close. This is Sunday's open. You had this whole gap. It's going to want to trade and fill that back in. And while it was doing that, it was creating all of these. It kept digging in here. It dug in a little deeper. It dug in a little deeper. It dug in a little deeper. And then finally, it filled in that gap completely, body to body, all the way down right here, taking out all sell side liquidity, completely providing efficient price delivery for this new week opening gap. And then it shot up. Does USD JPY fight the setup? Took out sell side displacement, now working on a retrace. Oh, fit the setup. I was going to say, I don't know how it would fight it. Does it fit the setup? Not taking it, just typing to learn. Or trying to learn the setup. We can look at it. I think somebody wanted to look at USD Swiss, dollar Swiss too. So here we go. Dollar yen took out sell side displacement, now working on a retrace. Taking out sell side here, displaced higher. It's taken out buy side, and we've had an aggressive reaction away. So I would be more short on dollar yen here, I think, but you can see it's taken out. It took out buy side and buy side aggressively, and then we had a quick displacement back. So you see how there's an aggressive run into liquidity and then an aggressive run away from liquidity on the 30-minute time frame here. So for me, what I see is I see buy side getting run here, here, and here, and then we have this quick energetic displacement down. This is not a retrace. This is a displacement down. So you could be targeting this as your breaker, these last down close candles that initiated the final run on liquidity. There's a fair value gap right inside here that you could target potentially for a short, a dollar short, dollar yen short. It just depends on what your bias is for dollar overall. I'm more bearish on the dollar, so this would be what I would be targeting here, is a potential short from this area in here, which would also line up with an OTE, put you back into a premium from this big move down. That's kind of what I would be looking for. And again, the new week opening gap here on the dollar, it ran back up, and then much like gold, we've seen it push back down away from that. It filled it back in, grabbed liquidity, and ran back down to the other side. So yeah, I would not be trying to go long here. I don't think. But again, this is just my opinion. And I could be wrong, and I'm more content to sit on my hands and realize that I was wrong in my analysis and not take a trade. So like I said, the gilded G-strings. Yeah, I don't really have any desire to call out a gold trade here, even though we have this massive fair value gap here and a massive fair value gap here, and it may come back down and tag it in and fly higher. It could just as equally, like it's doing right there. Market's open here at 8:30. See what kind of push you get here on US 30, but you can see I would not I would not want to get into a gold trade right here. I would have preferred these candles not shot off like they did. It could still work out, and so you're a gold trader. It might work, but I don't feel confident in this setup right here. This does not look good to me. You can make a public link to your challenge account so you can track it. But yeah, it would be too difficult to enforce, wouldn't it? Unless a prop firm would make the rules on the account. And I think that would just be too much back end work for them to set up a whole new trading system for challenges. That's why I'm really on the fence about it. I don't know. I feel torn. I would like to help people that maybe need to purchase a challenge. They don't have the money for it, but I also am like, I don't want to keep contributing to fostering a gambling type mindset. Pound dollar taking out some lows here. So that's cool. If we can get some displacement away from here, that would be again in line with what we want to see happen. It's got all these equal lows, equal highs up here. What's the dollar doing? Dollar shot up and has pulled back. We're just watching, guys. We're just watching. Be content with and enjoy watching how the market moves with no expectation or anticipation to get into a trade. Just wait. There is no rush. We have no time limit to meet these objectives. If we take one trade this week and it wins, I'll be up 4%. And then I'll only need 1% to finish out and add another $10,000 in funding. And I'll need just one more 4% winner to close out phase one. So, I mean, just wait. Just be patient. Do not get antsy and just start trying to get in. And you see these candles start moving like gold's moving. You're like, oh, I'm just going to click buy. It's just going to keep going up. You have no idea what it's going to do next. It is a completely random outcome. So just wait for your setup to form that you know over 100 trades what the win rate is on. Just wait for that. Pound wicked right back down into that fair value gap, but I don't really like. I just don't like how it just popped off. I would have preferred this candle to just have closed bullish. The next one closed a little bit more bullish and then given us a pullback in. I don't like that whippy action that it does where it just shoots off. I'm eyeing a potential short on EU here. So if you're bearish on euro dollar, then you're just going to need to see some displacement short here to indicate that that is indeed what you want to do. I don't see it's moving up, so don't try to short anything until you get confirmation that this thing actually does want to move short here. There's nothing here. It hasn't taken out these highs yet, so there's still some buy side liquidity here that it may want to reach into. If it does want to go short, it may want to reach up into that a little bit higher. Which for the dollar, it would need to come down and take out these lows down here. For euro, if the euro takes out those highs and the dollar leaves these lows, then yes, you could potentially have a euro short trade set up there. But don't just click sell right now. Last Friday's live stream was so entertaining. You were in a trade to pass your eval with an angry wife. I hope she forgave you after bringing home some bacon. It was a long day. I gotta be honest. It took most of the day, but I mean, we got her back. She was pissed. So she had told me, and I knew we were supposed to go. I just thought it was later in the morning. We were supposed to go out with some friends. So we live down in on the south side of Houston in the Clear Lake area, and right on Galveston Bay and all this. So they have, there's marinas all over the place with these boats and stuff. They have a boat race that comes through every year. These speedboats that come out, and we were supposed to go out on some friends of ours. They each have boats, and we were going to go out with them and tie up and watch the races, and then go hang out for lunch somewhere. And I thought we weren't supposed to be there till like 10 o'clock or 10:30, and evidently we were supposed to be there by like 8:30 or 9. She was so mad. God. She was like, because we were in that trade. We were trying to pass our challenge for that 10K phase one, and we were trying to finish it off. And she stomped back up the stairs, and I don't know, it was like 10 minutes later we passed, and I started clapping and hooting and hollering. And I went back up afterwards, and she was like, I wanted to come down there and punch you in the throat when you started clapping and cheering. Oh my gosh. But she was happy that we did pass. In the end, she was happy we passed. We got the payout. So yeah. I should have known better, and I should have been more diligent on our calendar and the time that we were supposed to be out. It was my fault, completely my fault. I botched it up. So, but we ended up getting to catch up with all of them. That big boat race had an after party on Saturday, and we were able to go hang out there with all of our friends and be part of that too. So, quite a wick. Thought it was a going for displacement. Yeah, I would like to see the pound here give some displacement through this high potentially. Look at gold shoot off. Again, giving you no opportunity for entry here. It sucks. I don't like you, gold. Why you got to do us like that? You gave us what we wanted, and then you just ran away and wouldn't play with us. US 30 getting some displacement here up off of our 830 open. Running back up and filling in these imbalances here. We'll see what happens if we get some displacement above these highs, or if this is just a little Judas swing here at the start of the market open. Pound has taken out its buy side targets here. Dollar has almost taken out its sell side targets. Again, I was bearish dollar, so I would anticipate more bearishness. Uh-oh, I hear my puppies coming. You know what time that is. It's about that time. Let me go let my pups do their business, guys. Y'all just hang on tight. I'll be back in a couple minutes. All right. We're back at it. Dollars here moving back up off of its sell side liquidity area. Well, it still hasn't taken out those lows yet here on dollar, but it did quite aggressively take them out here on euro. So we'll see what happens here. Babe, are you still down here? Yeah. They were just talking about how entertaining the stream was on Friday when you got so pissed off at me.
Can I say hi?
I don't care.
Where do I go?
You just gotta come over here. Stream, she wants to say hi. You gotta get down here on the camera.
So weird. Hey guys. Yeah, I was pissed.
Yeah, she was pissed. Very pissed. But we got over it. We made it work. Hey, we're up to 32 viewers right now. Welcome in, everybody. If you haven't hit that like button yet, please go ahead and do that. Oh, Metro MD, our mod is in here. Guys, our mod is actually my son. I have made him a moderator here in the chat so that he can, if I can't get to anything, he can. So we've been talking with him about starting a new challenge and maybe even coming here on the stream and showing everyone, taking a person, he knows a little bit about what we do in trading. He doesn't know very much. He doesn't know as much as all of you sitting on here. It might be worth, we've thought about bringing him on and doing like a whole one of these challenges while we're in this, where he takes like a 10K and starts from scratch, and I talk him through it all live there too. So I don't know. We've been thinking about it. Man, chat just got quiet all of a sudden. Where'd y'all go? Here we go. Dollar trying to push down here for these new lows. Everybody just listening and chilling. So gold has taken out some buy side and starting to get a little pullback here. US 30 is still kind of pushing up. USD didn't quite reach back up into that fair value gap, but it got pretty close. Whoever was looking at that, I would have been short from up in here, but it didn't reach back up that high. It may do it. It may, we'll have to wait and see. Dollar has taken out these lows over here now. Pound is starting to push up above our breaker here, but it's not really doing so with any kind of displacement, and it doesn't look like it would leave behind any kind of fair value gap there. This move here, this could be a new breaker here on the 15-minute. It just depends. We ran sell side liquidity here and we pushed back up. So let me see. So you have these two up close candles here. We ran down, grabbed sell side liquidity, and we've displaced higher. There's a small little fair value gap in there. This is not enough for me to get in on, mostly because the 15-minute hasn't shown us a direction it wants to go. Euro dollar moving quite aggressively now back up into the 4-hour imbalance up here. This may be one of those days where the moves happen without setups forming. And that is perfectly okay to happen. Just enjoy watching the markets, guys. Just enjoy it. Your accounts are safe when you're not in a position and you have no time limit. So just hold off. We will get a setup. 32. It got up to 32, huh? I think that is a new record. I'm happy with 32. I think when we get to like 50, like when there's 50 people watching, I think that might be a good time to start the Discord. That would give people a chance to, off the stream, continue chatting, talking. I would just, I don't know how to manage a Discord. I've never done that before. I might need to get some help with some moderation and all that kind of stuff and figure it out. But I do like the little community we're building. You guys are starting to get to know each other. Same people are showing up every day. You guys are being loyal, and so yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of cool. But I think we have a little bit more growth to see happen there before we're there yet. You don't want to start it and it just sit there and there's 2 people in there all day. $36? Really? It got all the way to 36. Cool. Corey's the OG, and I keep saying this, man. If I get a giveaway, I may just give one to Corey. He was here when I had 0 viewers. 0 viewers. Thoughts currently on gold? I mean, it's taken out buy-side liquidity, so there's not a move here for me. This move up was what I would have wanted to participate in. But it just shot up too much. And then it took out buy-side liquidity here. And so even if I had placed an order down here, I would have canceled it because it hit the buy-side liquidity target first. So it could come back down and it may work out and run even higher up into these buy-side liquidity targets. But there's no trade set up here for me on gold. This move was just too... It moved too far, too fast, and took out buy-side liquidity before it gave you an entry. It may still work out, but it doesn't fit my trading system, John. I would not want to get into a position here on gold. Major pips, I don't know why my chat was disabled. Uh-oh. I don't think that was on my end. I think that was on your end. Good afternoon. It has been fun. Corey, yeah, it's been fun, man. It's been fun. Corey's been here from the beginning. Corey, how's your challenge going, man? Didn't you had one with Smart Prop Trader, I believe. Or you just started a new one? I can't remember. It's been a while since I asked you about that. But how is your challenge going? And any of you guys, you can. I'd love to know how your challenges are going, where you're at right now on your challenges, and who you're using. Gold aggressively moved up, grabbed buy-side liquidity. Now we're aggressively moving back down. US 30 getting a little bit of a retrace here. Pound not doing anything. Euro dollar has run these highs, and we're getting a little bit of a pullback here. So, Mr. Brooks, 10K phase 1 up 4% with True Forex funds. Way to go. You're halfway there. They have an 8% or 10% target. Sai started yesterday up 2%. Way to go, Sai. Good job, guys. Just stay patient. 8%. So yeah, cool. You're halfway there. Be patient, be patient, be patient. Do not rush. There is no competition to finish these challenges so fast. Just take your A+ setups. Just take your A+ setups. That's all you need to be doing to pass these challenges. Corey, I lost the first challenge because of service issues. Oh, I think I remember you talking about that last week or so. I haven't bought another just yet. I've been practicing. It's all right, man. Hang in there. lock down your trading system, lock down your rules, stick to them. Alex is 5% on Bespoke Phase 1. Well done. What size account is that, Alex? We got 33 viewers in here. It looks like 34 viewers in here right now. Guys, please, the only thing that helps this channel grow is when you guys engage in the chat and when you hit the like button. So just please continue to do that. When you pop in, just hit that little thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. 300K. Big boy. He's not messing around. He's not trying to grow he doesn't want to just spend $100 and grow it over 4 months. He's just going right for the 300K. Good job, Alex. Alex, are you currently funded? Do you have funded accounts with other firms or with Bespoke? Thanks, Major Pips. Of course, you can always share it. I do appreciate you guys sharing that out there. The more people we get in, the better our community will be, and we'll all get there together. If I can take that 90% number, the 90% of people failing, if I can take that to 89%, that is a lot of traders being able to get funded. If we can just move that from 90 to 89, we will have done quite a good job for the community. So here's something very interesting here, guys. We're getting a very aggressive reaction down here off of the dollar. It's grabbed its sell side liquidity. We reached down through the daily fair value gap. We're getting a nice aggressive reaction back into this area now, which would mean we could be looking at a stronger dollar here today and run up here into this buy side liquidity up here. That's TBD. You see gold's come back down into this breaker block that we did identify. This may turn around and go right back up, but because it's already taken out buy side liquidity here, there is no trade set up on gold for me. If you're in that trade, it could work out. Let me know in the chat if you are in that gold trade. I would not be in it, but some of you, that might fit your trading system. Some of you may still be in it or have gotten into it just now. So US 30 pulling back a little bit, but the dollar, what's the dollar doing? Reaching back up into this order block. It's rebalanced this downside candle. We've got about 5 more minutes. It'll be interesting to see how this 15-minute candle closes here as we close out our 8 o'clock hour and head into the 9 o'clock hour here. We are getting quite a, just for daily expansion, we've left no wick behind here on this daily candle. We just opened and we've just moved up pretty aggressively on euro dollar here. DXY, you can see we took out Friday's low. This is the fair value gap. There's 2 fair value gaps here. This is an inverted fair value gap we're watching on DXY, and there is a secondary fair value gap right here that we're also kind of watching to see if it's going to support price or not. It's currently, if it closed right here today, it would have violated both fair value gaps and would definitely point to more bearish price action. Pound is just kind of not playing real good today. I really wanted to see it displace above this high after it grabbed this, after this move down right here on the pound dollar. It grabbed sell side liquidity right here. I really wanted to see it displace above here, but it couldn't displace here. It couldn't displace here. It couldn't displace here. So that's not great. The gold trade, if you were in it, did anybody take that gold trade? Yeah, John, as I said, because it took out the buy side liquidity here on this candle, I would not be in this gold trade. Had it paused here and then come back, I would have gotten in. I would have had a buy limit order inside this, and I probably would have targeted about the 50% zone of this fair value or inside this breaker, which currently we would not have been triggered into. If you had set it just at the top of that breaker, then you probably could have gotten triggered in, but my order would have been right around 50% area there, just to get a better risk to reward ratio and a better stop loss. Not such a large stop loss, just even if it's just 20 pips or whatever it is. But yeah, I would not. I'm not in this trade. I'd said that once it cleared out buy side liquidity up here, I would not be trying to go get back in on a test of that, because it could just very well grab that liquidity and shoot lower from there. US 30 has run pretty aggressively up and pulling back. Michael, I hope you didn't get in that euro short there. As I said, it's bullish price action, and you've had no inclination that it was going to roll over or any kind of confirmation that it had done what it needed to do. It has reached up into this imbalance now, about 50% of it here on the 4H time frame, consequent encroachment, as ICT likes to call it, and it's pulling off of that area. So if it was going to reverse, this would be an area that it could reverse at. The dollar has taken out its sell side. Let me get this up there. Come on, cooperate. It's taken out the sell side liquidity here, taken out that low, and pulled back up. Coming into the 9 o'clock hour here, I can stay on probably for another 45 minutes today. A little bit longer of a stream this morning. I've got to go help one of my sons. Is going to be trying to buy a car this morning, and I'm going to go help him. I'm going to do the dad thing and help him walk through that process, I think. So I got to get out of here in about 45 minutes to an hour. John did take the trade on gold. Good for you, bud. It looks like it's moving well. Manusos is second day, 6% up on a 15K challenge. Way to go, bud. Good job. Yeah, Michael, good. No trade, no displacement, no trade. That's exactly right. Psy 3-minute setup. I do not go down to the 3-minute. 5-minute is slowest I'll go. So I'm not. If that fits your system, I'm not going to drop down there. Mario says, look at AU. Aussie dollar here. Let's see. We ran buy side. We've displaced back through. We broke through here. You have a fair value gap up inside here. 4 hour, you've had a change of structure here. You've reached back up into that fair value gap. On the 1 hour, you've taken out buy side liquidity. And after reaching up in here, you've now had displacement away on the 30-minute time frame. this would be your 30-minute breaker. You have a fair value gap up inside there. That could be a potential area that you would get short. But I would you may be taking out sell side here, displaced higher. It's come back down, reached into this breaker here, and moving up. So this is just quick and dirty analysis. I don't even know what the higher time frame is doing. Oh, the higher time frame has taken out sell side, taken out buy side, and we're back in the middle of the daily range. Oof. So there's really no good strong bias here for me on Aussie dollar from a daily perspective. It's been moving. It just accumulated. It manipulated to the downside. It's manipulated to the upside, and now you're just back inside the middle of this range. I mean, it took out sell side here on the 4-hour and displaced higher. It pulled back into that breaker right here, and it's pushed back up. So maybe more bullish. Here, let me just look and see. I don't see a great setup here on Aussie dollar anywhere currently, so I'm not sure if there was something specific, whether you were short or long there or what you were seeing, but Mario, but that's kind of what I see. Michael, get him a Tesla. He's buying it. I'm not buying it. I don't know what he wants to buy. It's not a Tesla. I don't really know what car he's looking at. I'm not sure. I like Tesla. Teslas are cool. I would be not opposed to getting a Tesla. Dollar couldn't get you a continuation there after grabbing those lows, so I'm not sure where it wants to go from here. Pound is wanting to move higher. Euro wanting to move has made a new daily high already here in this session. So I like Tesla. Y'all in Texas. Hey, I appreciate you said y'all, Michael. That's good Texan vernacular there. Y'all in Texas probably like the sound of an engine though. Dude, the freaking trucks and mufflers around here and the way people want to use them, they piss me off so much. Everybody wants to sound like they're at a freaking racetrack. And I'm like, what are you trying to prove? You're going from 0 to 45 miles an hour in about 5 seconds. And you sound like you're doing a lot, and all you're doing is pissing off everyone around you. No one cares. Like right now, if I open my door, all you would hear is just idiots out there racing down the road, letting everyone know that they spent money on a muffler, on a car that has 150 horsepower or a truck that has 350 horsepower. I don't know. You're not wrong. There are a lot of people that love those loud engines. Jack down 1.5% on my phase 2. No stress though, no time limits. You're exactly right, man. One trade can pull you out of that just fine. So just stick to your system. Don't stress about the drawdown. Drawdown is part of trading. I have started every single phase of this entire challenge. We've started with drawdown. Every single one. Mario, maybe you were the one talking about USD Swiss. I don't really look at any of these, so these are just been in a downtrend, pulled out buy side, change of market structure. We've still inside this dealing range here. We haven't made a new low. We changed structure here, took out liquidity. We've just been bouncing around for the last week or so. 4 hour. We took out buy side. We haven't displaced lower. 1 hour. You took out sell side, couldn't displace higher. There's nothing here on USD Swiss that I see as wanting to participate in a trade. You've taken out sell side here, so if anything, you would be waiting for displacement above this candle, and then you could potentially get in a long there. I'm giving you analysis on my setup. So if you're asking me to look at a chart and wondering if it fits your setup, number one, I don't know what your trading strategy is. I don't know what your setup is. If you're asking me if I would take a position, number one, I don't look at these pairs, so I wouldn't be able to really give you a good answer. This is just a quick 1 minute analysis, a very quick look at it for a minute, tell you my initial thoughts. I've seen it run. It ran buy side, but it couldn't displace lower anywhere. Now it's run sell side, and it's trying to displace higher. So if it could displace above these two 15-minute candles here and leave behind a little fair value gap, that could be a nice buy into some of these liquidity voids up here. That's how I would look at USD Swiss. But I wouldn't just buy it from down here, no. There was no displacement after it grabbed that liquidity, and I don't just trade fair value gaps randomly when it reaches it. Michael, I like fast acceleration, but I don't particularly like making noise or being flashy or whatever. So I like the idea of electric, quick and mute. Yeah, me too, man. I'm all about. So I ride a motorcycle, but my motorcycle is not like, it's not a Harley. It's not like you're not gonna hear me coming from 2 or 3, 4 blocks away. I don't like. It sounds like a motorcycle, but it's not a very loud. It does not have a muffler on there, and I like the quick acceleration, all that. But Teslas are great. They're the fastest cars on the road, I think. What gold, dude? John, are you still in that gold trade? Seems like it's moving nicely for you there. Pound is finally starting to move, but there's no setup in here, y'all. There's just no setup. I would have preferred this breaker to get displaced through. It didn't. We're finally breaking structure here, but even on a 5-minute time frame, there's no displacement. There's no fair value gaps. Good job, John. I'm glad you were able to get into that. Hope that works out. Did you get in right at the top of the breaker, or where was your entry? If I had set a limit order, I would have set it right here, and I would have set my stop right there, and I would have targeted right there. And it didn't wick us in. It didn't even get down far enough. But first of all, I wouldn't have been in this again because it already took out buy side liquidity. But if it had, it still wouldn't have come down far enough for me to get into that trade. But if you had just targeted the breaker, the top of the breaker, I still would have probably kept my stop there at the body, and my take profit would have been there. So had I targeted that, then I would be at break even at this position right now. But let me know where you got in on that. I really wish these hadn't just shot off and then grabbed liquidity, because It really was a nice setup. Very clean run of liquidity. Very good displacement. Just too far too fast at the top of the 15-minute fair value gap. Oh, so you got in way up here. Oh, wow. Yeah, so here's what here's my recommendation. Number one, now you've got to get, even if you're just going for a 1-to-1, you're going to have to clear those highs, which it looks like you may do. I would go for a minimum 1-to-5, but you know me, I'm going to go for a 1-to-2, and that's just a lot more work for it to do. It is above those relative equal highs, so it could clear all that out. So for me, the reason I would want to get deeper in there is I want to see it bare minimum touch the breaker block. And I also want to see it get into a discount from that move up. So bare minimum, it would have been below that area. And ideally, I'm going to target about 50% of the breaker typically is where I like to enter. And there's a fair value gap there. It came down into the breaker, but that would have given me I wouldn't have had to sit through the drawdown. I'm going to get in at a deeper discount, and I'm going to have my trade only has to come up, not even all the way to the top of that liquidity for me to get my 1-to-2, and I'm out. And if you get in before it's in a discount, like you can see, it wants to come back down. It came all the way back down to that OTE area. So don't let the fear of not being able to get into a trade let you get in too early. Like that's the whole pain thing I was talking about earlier. Your brain is telling you you're going to miss this, you're going to miss profits, you're going to miss profits. And then you get into the trade and then it's like, oh my God, you're going to lose profits. You're going to lose this trade. So I would have been at break even here had I gotten my entry off that breaker. But my entry would have been here and my take profit would have been here. And had I got wicked in, it would have already hit my take profit on that trade. It didn't wick me in. For future reference, John, I would advise you to consider waiting until price gets back down into it. Put your entry at least at the discount, at least at the 50%, so you're buying in a discount. That would have saved you a little bit of drawdown, and you would be in deeper profits right now. As it is, you're floating just inside your break-even point there. But either way, this trade still could work out. Gold still could fly up. Dollar's not moving much now into our 9 o'clock hour. I think there's a little news coming up. It's not listed here on TradingView, but there's a little news coming up. I think in about 45 minutes, some kind of consumer confidence numbers are coming out. Entry should be taken off a level where your risk reward is looking good. Yes. Agreed, Michael. Then have the mindset of my entry or no entry and wait patiently. 100%. That's why I said this is where my trade would have been, and it didn't wick me in, and it went off without me. And I would be fine with that. Had it wicked me in, I would have gotten a sniper entry and already been out of the trade with full profits. So I agree. Wait for your price. Get your price. Get it in a discount or a premium, depending on which way you're going. Get a better risk reward ratio, and then you can get in and out of your trades a little bit quicker. Really good idea. Oh, sure, man. I just want to help. I used to do that kind of stuff all the time, and I would get so frustrated. I would get real frustrated. I'd be like, man, I'm entering at the fair value gap. I don't want to miss this trade. And then I would enter at that fair value gap, and then there's still a fair value gap all the way down here. It could reach into. So, but it did tap into that breaker, and that fair value gap off of that breaker has been a nice little reaction. So it looks like you're in a pretty good position. You should be able to lock in at least a 1-to-1 But since you got in there, I mean, if it gets above that, I would either close or just move to break even. CPI at 10. That's what it was. Sai, look at this, please. Michael, it's the contrarian mindset which is difficult, but it is the way. It is the way. You have to flip the switch. You have to whatever your brain is telling you to do, you need to almost every time realize it's lying to you. And it's just trying to protect you from some kind of pain that you're feeling, either the pain of not being involved, the pain of missing a stop loss, the pain of losing profits. Most of the time, you need to do the opposite. Corey, is your interview still today? Yes. We are doing an interview with Bespoke this afternoon. I don't know who it's with. I don't know if it's they have a girl, Madison, that is doing all of their YouTube content. So I don't know if it's her. I haven't received all the details. I just know around a certain time when it's going to happen. So I don't know if it's going to be Max. I've been talking with Max, who is one of the owners. He's the one who has set it all up. So I don't know if he's doing it. I'm not really sure. But it's supposed to happen this afternoon. Got the yawns going. Dollar showing more weakness here. Pound is finally starting to move up. But there is no setup here. There's no fair value gap in here on the 15 or the 5 minute. So it looks like, I mean, if I'm just guessing here, it just looks like price is not going to give the setup that we need today. And that's okay. We're okay with that. We're totally okay with that. I really wanted this on the pound to be my setup today. I really wanted displacement through there with a fair value gap and then do what it's doing now. But it never gave it to us. Not once. There was no clean setup in here. Even on this run of liquidity right here, we didn't get displacement back above it. It just stopped. It got hammered and pulled back. There's a small little fair value gap in there, but again, that's just not a clean setup. It's working out, but it's not a clean setup. Gold's still kind of hovering around this little area here that it had trouble at yesterday as well. And US 30, still no, we had a run on liquidity here, but we haven't had displacement back above, and now it's just pulled back into this order block and fair value gap here and paused. So again, not much going on today, guys. It's just one of those days we're sitting in the tree stand and we're enjoying being out in the woods, watching the day unfold. And no trophy bucks have shown up. And that's just part of it. My numbers and my data show my best Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays are when most of my trades happen and when most of my winners happen. So it's usually the tail end of the week that I get the better setups. I told you yesterday, typically I'm not even on the charts on Mondays. I might look at them, but I'm definitely have no intention of trading on Mondays. But because I'm here on the live stream, I will sit here with you and talk it through. But once you've done this enough and you have the data enough, you realize you don't have to trade every day. You don't even have to be at the markets every day. There's plenty of opportunities and setups that come. And your numbers are going to tell you when your setups typically on what days that you have the best win rates on, and those are the days you should focus on. I'm going to stick around for about 15 more minutes here. And then I'm going to go get cleaned up and go meet my son for a little bit. John, are you still in this gold trade? And if so, what is your what target are you trying to hit here? If you got in right on that fair value gap, I don't know where you put your stop, but are you just going for a 1-to-1? Are you going for a 1-to-2? What's your target here? And where's your stop? Stop is 3 ticks below the fair value gap. So somewhere about there. TP is at the equal highs. These equal highs. This one right here. So like a 1.5 R is what you're shooting for. These equal highs. Gotcha. 2.5. That'd be a good. That'd definitely be a good little pickup there. Yeah. So just consider next time this entry versus waiting for that breaker to get hit and your stop just at the body of that last fair value gap, and your 2.5 would be up here. And you'd be well deep into profits right now. Versus where you're at right now. Again, you're in profits, so I mean, that's great. But just for future reference, wait for that breaker. Like, get your price. Get that deep dive and that good retrace back off that displacement. This displacement is telling you that this is inefficient price delivery. This moved so far, so fast. Sellers did not get a chance, or buyers did not get a chance to participate. So it just ran right through it. So price is going to come back down and rebalance these areas. So just wait. Get your price in a discount. And you'll be able to get into deeper profits quicker. The fair value gap inside the breaker, well, that would have been down here. This 15-minute breaker is right here. The fair value gap, bare minimum, would have been at the top of the breaker. Yes, the fair value gap starts above it, but you want to see that breaker get tested. And ideally, the fair value gap inside of that breaker. So this is the ideal entry zone. And it wicked down in there. I would have wanted it to come a little bit about 50% into that breaker for me personally. But that, again, that's just I don't know if that was I don't know if that's a fear related issue. If that's like, oh, I want to make sure I'm getting in the move, or if that's just like, I don't know why. Again, you're not wrong. I don't want to make it sound like you're wrong. I'm not trying to attack your entry here. What I'm saying is that with experience, this is what I used to do. These are the entries I used to take. Now, these are the entries I take. I get fewer of them, but I get better prices and I get to my TPs way faster, and they're more profitable in the long run. Man, I wish Pound would have cooperated today. It left this high in place. This is the London session high here. It left it in place there. Sure, man. That's why I'm here. I just want to help if I can. Again, I don't want to try to sway you away from talking you out of how you trade, but if how you're trading is not, if there's holes in it, and I can maybe point those out and it can be helpful for you and you can shore that up, maybe that will be what puts you consistently into the win column there. What's the dollar doing? Made a new low. US 30 pushing for new highs here. The 930 indices market, the New York Stock Exchange, is going to be opening here in about 2 minutes. So it might give us something else here. John says, I'm a former high school teacher and football coach, so I appreciate your desire to help. Oh, cool. Man, high school football coaches, they are the most underappreciated coaches I think that exist. It's so tough to keep administration happy, to keep parents happy. Former, so I guess you're not coaching anymore, huh? Well, that's any leadership position, really. A good leader, if you win, gives credit to everyone else, and a good leader, if you lose, takes the blame. So, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like high school sports and high school, those coaches are just in a very tough position. You're not professionals. You're not getting paid professionally. Well, I guess professionally you are doing it as a professional. But what I mean, like, it's not on a professional level of athletics that you're getting paid to do that. And you only, if it's a public school, all you have is the pool of kids that are within your district. So you have no control really on who comes out to even play for you. You just have to take the best players that you can find and try to make it work, and hope that you luck into just a killer quarterback or a killer running back. And I appreciate you calling it football. The true word, the true name of the sport. US 30 pushing hard up here on the 930 open. Gold trying to make a run for you, John. Pound, not so much. Euro, not so much. The dollar is dropping hard. US 30, though, running up into that buy-side liquidity here. If we can get some displacement above these two candles, you might have a nice little entry to run for more buy-side liquidity. But if it just grabs that and falls away as a Judas swing, then yeah, no trade. I agree with that, but you often see people in the public eye who does the opposite and takes credit when things are good and blames when it's not. Yeah, there's definitely bad leaders out there. Definitely bad leaders out there. John was definitely a flea flicker type of play caller. Jack, we don't have any soccer coaches in here. We only have football coaches in here. So John is a retired football coach, not a retired soccer coach. So he would appreciate it, you not blaspheming his sport. Run off tackle kind of guy. I feel like in high school your run game is at least every high school football game I've seen recently, it's run game. Like that's what it's all about. An occasional pass just to mix it up, but there's not a lot of great high school quarterbacks that have just, accurate, strong throwing arms for those guys to really lock into very much. But you can always teach guys to block and push and move people and run. Running doesn't take as much athletic coordination as being a quarterback, reading defenses, making accurate passes. Ghost Olympique de Marseille. I don't know what that means, but Arsenal. I think Jack and Ghost are talking about soccer teams. Look at US 30 pumping off. John, you should be in good profits right now. I would highly consider moving to break even as we approach those highs if you're not already at it. Pound, not really doing a whole lot. And euro just kind of creeping higher. Dollar creeping lower. So here on US 30, you have a potential play forming here. You had your nice little up move. We ran through sell side liquidity, and now we've had an aggressive displacement after running all the sell side liquidity. We'll watch and wait and see. Ghost, a football team. Yes, soccer. Newcastle is the squad next year in France. No, not soccer. I'm excited to see how Newcastle get on next season. I want to know how all the you UK guys, what do y'all think about the Ted Lasso show? Do y'all even watch that? Y'all even know what that is on Apple TV? Ted Lasso, the American football coach who goes over and helps the soccer team. What's the name of the soccer team? I can't remember. Did y'all watch that show? Is it good? Do you think it's good? I'd be interested to know. Never heard of it. Any good? I mean, AFC Richmond. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Ryfan. AFC Richmond. So Ted Lasso is a show on Apple TV Plus or Apple TV, whatever you call it. And it's about, I think they have like 3 seasons. It's really good. I mean, in America, in the U.S., people love the show. But it's about this football coach who goes over to the UK, and the owner of the club is going through a divorce. A lady, she gets the club in a divorce from her husband, and she hires Ted Lasso. She hires him to tank the team because the club, was the husband's like pride and joy. And so because he's divorcing her, or she's divorcing him because he was cheating on her, she's like, I'm going to destroy this team. And the way I'm going to do it is hire a coach who knows nothing about soccer to come over from the States and destroy the fan base, destroy the club. He's not going to know what he's doing. And so he ends up turning the team around, and they end up, I think, avoiding, what is it called? Relegation, or they get out of relegation and they make it into the league, the higher league. I don't know how it all works over there, so I'm just talking like I'm an idiot right now. But it is a highly rated show in the States. I just didn't know if it was popular over there in UK at all. Yes, it's totally fiction. It is funny. It is very funny. Very well done. Great acting. But I just didn't know if everybody over there was like, this is total crap. Michael says, I enjoyed Ted Lasso a lot. I watched the first 2 seasons. Haven't watched the last yet. Yeah, we watched the first 2. My wife and I also enjoy the show, but we have not watched the 3rd season that's out currently. But it's a good show, I think. I think people here in the States feel like, well, I think a lot of cultures, but I think we are more. I think generally in the States, we're more culturally arrogant in our tastes and think that everything that we like is the best and everything that we think is good, everyone else should also think is good. I don't necessarily hold that opinion. I'm just saying in general, we here in the States feel like our opinions matter more. And so I always am interested to see how stuff that plays well here plays different over in different parts of the world. Pound dollar pulling back here. Euro not really doing much. Dollar is pulling back up. Gold, John, I hope you're at break even. It has reached a little bit deeper into those relative equal high buy side targets there. US 30 shooting off, not going to give us an entry. It just exploded. So that's not going to be an option for us. It looks like we're not going to get any kind of setups to play nicely for us today. Again, perfectly fine. This happened last week too. We didn't take any trades on Monday or Tuesday last week. And then we ended up getting a couple really good ones Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So be patient, everyone. There is no rush. We're here every day. We'll be back again tomorrow. But I'm going to go ahead and sign off here for today. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for clicking that like button and being in here. I hope it's being helpful for you. But we'll be back again tomorrow at 7 a.m. I hope you guys can make it. Follow me on Twitter. I'll be posting stuff there all day. And I'll let you know how the interview goes this afternoon, tomorrow as well on the live stream. So anyway, happy hunting, guys. Be safe. We'll catch you guys